Welcome to Moments with Marianne. I'm so delighted we're spending this time here today. We have a very powerful show coming right up. Our special guest today is Meriflor Toneatto, and she's here to talk to us about her new book, Money, Manifestation, and Miracles. Now, Meriflor is the founder and CEO of Power with Soul, and she specializes in helping ambitious women entrepreneurs, professionals, and leaders to reach financial prosperity and success while fulfilling their social promise to the world. Her work has been featured internationally in media outlets like Yahoo Finance, Washington Post, International Business Times, Los Angeles Times, and many more. So let's welcome to the show, Meriflor.
Thank you so much for having me on, Marianne. I'm so excited to be with you and all the listeners.
Oh, and what a pleasure it is to have you here. And gosh, a book about money and manifesting and, of course, miracles. Who doesn't love that?
I know. When the download came of the title of the book, it just kind of rolled, and I was actually really fascinated, Marianne, because of all of the books that's about money and manifesting. Nobody ever strung the word money, manifestation, and miracles together, and so it was my book to write.
Oh, well, you were the right person to do this. So, why don't we start? Because I always am so curious, what inspires people along their path, and how did you get started on this path to even writing this book?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we all have our journey through life, and I've also found that we all have our own money journey and money story. And really, for me, the pivotal aspect of getting started on this journey is that when I was in my early 20s, I was a young single mother struggling to live paycheck to paycheck and really thinking, oh my goodness, what kind of a future do I want to have for me and my daughter? I always had my family, great family to go back to, but I really I had gotten myself in the situation of having an epically short marriage and finding myself on my own with my daughter. And I lived a very sheltered upbringing, so I pretty much didn't know how to do anything. But in this one thing, I said, I am going to make this work, and I'm going to make money work for me, not me, being the servant to me, not the other way around. Mm-hmm. And I always had this really interesting situation where when you get to that point where you're really feeling down and you're at your lowest point, that can be the biggest gift in terms of the gift of failure, what I call it. And because in that moment, you've got nothing left. You're going to go, there's no way else to go down, so you're going to go up at some point. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to make this the way I want it to be. And I knew that money holds in our society anyways, you either have it or you don't, and it can sometimes reflect, the quality of the kind of life and future you can have. So I really got down to finding out what my own fears and what my emotions were regarding money. And then along the way, I met my soulmate, my husband, and, life was reinvented. I went into corporate and had such a successful career. And then I had this feeling where, I've done so much. I'm really happy about that, but I really feel like I need to do more, and I need to give back and help women as well. And so when I started my company, Power with Soul, my international coaching company, I started to really see this pattern with women regarding money, that it could actually affect their results in terms of their business income or the success of their career, or it could hold them back in some way because, I've since learned that really money is a mirror for whatever else is happening in our lives. And so I started to gather, all of this knowledge and started to create programs around that to help women. And then this book came to me because now is the time to really help women cultivate a liberated relationship with money. This is like liberation, women's liberation 2.0, right? And it's coming at the perfect time right now with all of the Me Too movement, women's empowerment, because now is our time to live the way we want to live, live out our dreams, pay forward our successes, and we can use money as a tool to help us do that.
Well, and I'm so glad that you not only wrote this book, but you have this distinction between, how men have relationships with money and how women have relationships with money. And I'd love for you to expand on that. Like, what are some of the differences for women?
Yes, so that's a very interesting. I call this a unique feminine connection to money, because for us we all have a relationship with money, both women and men, absolutely, just like you say. And at the same time, to better understand why we as women have this unique relationship with money, we actually have to go back into our physiology, into understanding the female brain. I know it sounds kind of funny, Marianne, but stay with me here. So the female brain has considerably more connecting brain cells than the male brain. And
I'm not surprised.
So with this is why we can multitask like crazy, right? Because we have more connecting brain cells. And women have a larger capacity for emotion, for language, for communication, and even for memory. And so I kind of laugh at this with what I say to women is, when you're talking to your partner, your husband, or whomever, and he's not listening to you because he's reading the newspaper and so forth, you're probably thinking your feelings are hurt because he's not listening to you. But it's actually a physiological thing that he can only focus on one thing at a time, as opposed to you focusing on myriad of things at one time because of the larger connections of brain cells for women. But anyways, so the next time that happens, don't get mad.
It's not their fault. It's not their fault, right?
Exactly. Well, it's funny because I ended up laughing when I read that, and I said this to my husband. He goes, "Okay, there it is. There's the reason." But anyways, so for women, we take this into how we view money. Because for women, we actually, money isn't straightforward like it is for men. For us, we don't see money in isolation. Rather, we see it as a connection and relationships and meaning. And so when you add on to that layer of emotions onto money, it can become a bigger situation. And that's when you have women, when we're making financial-related decisions, we take into consideration what our relationships, how it will impact us and our family and so forth. And so, because for women, money is really an extension and an expression of love for ourselves and for family, friends, and helping others who don't have very much, and we want to help and share with that. And so, that's the feminine connection to money that is so important, because imagine, Marianne, if we can empower more women with money, that the kind of good impact in bettering the world that we can make.
Yes. It's really interesting because, a lot of women, when I was reading this, I was like, oh, my goodness, this makes perfect sense. Because there's so many women that have such angst with money. It comes up and it's like, ooh, I'm barely making it. I have hardly enough to pay my bills. It's not like they're having this really abundant relationship with money.
No, it's not. And, and one of the other reasons, Marianne, you really, talked about the angst, and that is really, really true. Because and the angst translates into results and outcomes. So one of the reasons why I was so inspired to write this book is I came across the shocking statistics that while women-owned businesses in the U.S. are making $1.6 trillion in revenue, which is like fantastic. Even with that information, though, 3.3% of them are only making over $500,000 or more, and less than 2% are making seven figures, over $1 million. And I thought, oh my goodness, imagine from 1.3 trillion to 3.3 barely making it over 500,000. So,
wow.
That was really, for me, is like we have to change this current state of affairs, because we have to turn this around and help women get to what is at the core of that conflict, so that once that's addressed, I mean, I've seen it time and time again, because I work with so many women, you know, in all walks of life. And once they get it and once they release it, oh my goodness, as I say, never get in the way of a woman on a mission.
For sure.
Right?
For
Get out of the way, right?
Without a doubt. Well, and so, you know, what are some of the things that you're seeing, you know, because we talk about this great amounts of money, but at the same time, there's something that's obviously holding them back if the percentages are so low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you know, what it comes down to is that there's a connection with the sense of self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, after working with so many women, you know, all walks of life, I have personally witnessed this, and I felt this within myself as well, is that regardless of age, their income, or educational levels, women, and many of them, privately struggle with valuing themselves and their worth. And when that happens, that actually impacts your results, like to either, you know, move forward in your business or your career, you know, to get to that next level of whichever level it is that you need to get to in order to grow. And so I looked at that. So self-confidence is one of the, you know, the core symptoms. And then I said, but what is the actual root of the cause? And so the root cause that it points to has little to do with women's motivation, their intellect, their spirit, or their motivation, but it has to do with the quality of their relationship with money. Because that's where, and the reason why I focus on that is as a lens, because I find that it's the fastest way to get to where a woman may be holding herself back. Because money is so tangible, isn't it? Like it's either there or it isn't. And so that's a way for me to get a sense of, you know, where are they holding themselves back and where they could be, you know, sabotaging themselves in terms of their success.
So are you finding that a lot of the reasons that they're holding themselves back probably have something to do with something they've been told or taught in childhood?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, there's a part in the book where I talk about what does family have to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is absolutely the case. You know, our society, we have a patriarchal system, our own families, the dynamics of money. You know, who knows what, you know, all these other stories that people will tell me sometimes. Oh, yeah, when I was growing up, people were saying, my parents were saying, you know, you better work hard because that's the only way you're going to get money, because money doesn't grow on trees, or money is the root of all evil. Why are you focusing so much on money? You know, go help other people instead, right? And one of the women who wrote the foreword to my book, Ingrid Vanderveld, who's gone on to be such an incredible entrepreneur, and she's has a platform for empowering 1 billion women by 2020. And one of the things that she said to me was she was always conflicted with money because she wanted to be a missionary. She wanted to help all these people, but then society has this notion that money is bad. So this story kind of played out in her head, and she thought, well, I shouldn't want to have money because, I really just want to do good and help people. But, the funniest thing about that is that even Mother Teresa, who was helping the poor, the sick, all of that, once said, it takes a checkbook to change the world.
Without a doubt.
And yeah, and exactly. And so, I put that in the book because anybody, and I have had this conflict myself, that anybody who wants to make a difference in our physical world, money will help us. Money can be the tool and the vehicle to help us get to accomplish what it is that we want to accomplish.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've had friends that have had, and this is why your book is probably so timely. I was actually talking to a friend of mine just the other day, and she grew up in a very wealthy family, but their angst with money was like, it was kind of like something that the parents had used to get attention from the kids. So to be able to even hold on to money now, she doesn't even like to do that because she looks at it as a form of manipulation. So when we look at these different root causes, it's just kind of astounding what's kind of behind it all.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely fascinating because, like you say, that's the dynamic in her family. So it's a sense of manipulation. Some people will, connect it to affection. Some people connect it to either success. And you're going to laugh at this, but I came across this study. It's called the Women in Power Study. And it says that in the United States, in households of 200,000 or more, many women still fear that they may become a bag lady at some point.
Oh, wow.
That they fear that even if they're successful, that they might lose it all, that somehow they don't deserve to have it. And so, again, we come back to this reflection of self-worth and self-confidence. And,
so when,
it's fascinating.
Oh, it's completely, no, it's okay. It's completely fascinating because I, just your book goes over so much. It was so funny just how these things would start popping up with different people I knew. It's like, oh my goodness, you see these examples every day. And so once they are identified and you're saying, okay, well, the root cause is this, what are some ways that they can kind of solve this problem to kind of move on?
Yeah, and this is what this book is about. It really is to any woman right now who's listening, or a woman who may be experiencing this, and share it with her. There's two things to keep in mind. First is a mindset piece, and the second is actual actions. So the mindset piece is then, and really take this in, ladies, is whatever your past or your current challenges are with money, they don't define who you are, and it doesn't dictate your future because you are the one in charge of your destiny. You are the one that has a choice of every single moment of what you're going to do to change and make a shift. And a very practical way here is to turn inward, look within, and identify what is the root cause for me that is generating this type of results that I have in my life and in my bank account, for instance. And take a look at that and then read this book and use all of the step-by-step guide, because this book will help you release all that. It will definitely give you a lot of clarity and awareness and a lot of aha, because I document a lot of the case studies as well of different stories of different women. And, women will read this and say, oh, my God, I know who that is, or that's me, or because you're not alone. And this book is exactly that. It is a guide, and it's step by step, and it's going to help you to really identify and isolate what is that conflict for me regarding money, and now that I know that, apply those exercises that I have for a download in the book, and really use that as a way to start to increase your level of self-confidence. And try them out. And then pretty soon what's going to happen is you're going to start to feel like a new day is the horizon, as Oprah just said in her Golden Globe speech, that it's really about taking that courageous step and, repeating it and making changes where necessary to suit your life.
Mm-hmm. Be able to move forward. One of the things you have in your book that I just really love and appreciate, you talk about keeping a money gratitude journal. Where did that come from?
Oh, yes. That's one of my favorite things, one of my favorite strategies. So everything, the way in which the universe works is whatever you focus on expands. It grows. So if we give focus and attention to fear and negativity, at some point you're going to experience that in your external world. And likewise, if you give attention to gratitude, to abundance, to joy, that will be your experience in your life as well. And so many people are familiar with journaling, and many people have heard of gratitude journals as well. And so I wanted to take that concept and I wanted to expand it to have a gratitude journal related to money. So you write about things that you're grateful for, and it could be something really, really simple. So, for example, one day I went to the store and I bought certain things, and I get to the checkout counter, and I remembered that I had a gift card. So I was so excited because I didn't actually paid for it. In a way, the universe paid for it because somebody gave it to me, So I was really excited about that. Then I was on my way to meet my friend for lunch, and she said, "This is a treat. I'm treating you for lunch." And so I didn't pull out my wallet again. So I was just, I was humming. I'm thinking, this is a good day. And then I get to the coffee shop and I won a free drink. And then I realized, oh my God, I've got so many things to write in my money gratitude journal. And then I get home, and I had been waiting for this check that arrived that day. So that was like a fantastically abundant day. And even if it was just the finding the gift card or winning the drink at the coffee shop, I think that, that's a little thing that you can put in. And then once you start noticing those, you're going to notice more and more and more and more. And it grows and it expands. And then you start having fun with it. You start playing with it, and you start saying, okay, universe, show me what else is in store, What else, how much better can this get? That's another game I play. How much better can this get? And all sorts of stuff happens, And in a way, really, when I was in the middle of working with women and previously to the book, I was already asking, how much can this? How much more can I help serve? How much more? And then literally, this book came to me as a download when I was meditating one day, and it was, this is time. It's time to share this with women. It's time to help women get to the next level because, oh my God, the most amazing things that we could do in the world, it's waiting for us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, especially when you have your mind open and you're filled with gratitude, just more things that you can be grateful for just kind of come into your life.
Oh, yes. And this is really an interesting thing that has happened because this book is really also my lived experience. So I've had all these little experiments. And when I started to look at the world through the lens of almost going back to childlike, and I'm not saying Pollyannish or, being completely naive, but that childlike, thinking of of the universe as, wow, it's so abundant, and there are so many miracles that can happen, right? And I started to think that way, and it's, this book, the manifestation of this book is actually a miracle, because I just on a lark, I really love New World Library, who is my publisher, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get in touch with the president, and talk to him about this book, right? Which you don't, by the way, do in the literary world. You just don't do it. But seeing it from a childlike point of view, it's why not? Why not? Right? And this was the fastest kind of speed at which this all happened that I've seen. So it really feels like I've used all of the steps that are in the book. And so for anyone listening to us and you're feeling really inspired, go for it and enjoy the process, and know that the time has come, that because there are no coincidences, the time has come for you to release what is no longer serving you.
Yeah, and move forward for sure. Well, and in your book, you talk about financial starting point. What is that, and why is it important?
So financial starting point, so for us to know with any goal, for us to know where we want to go, we have to know where we're starting from. And so a financial starting point is just that. It's when you're going to go on a journey like this, because this does become an inner journey where you really get connected to yourself and to the universe or divine source. And, you look at it from the point of view of assessing what sort of, fears and doubts, what's your outlook and viewpoint has been regarding money. And so you look at that from a starting point, and then you look at where is it that I want to be in like 6 months' time or a year time with this relationship with money. And so, for instance, when I work with my clients, I have them complete, and you can download this, by the way, that's the exercises in the book. I have them complete a sort of like a mini assessment where they would do a current assessment of their relationship with money. And, talking about things like, what's your earliest memory of money, and how do you feel about money? And I'll get all kinds of responses like, oh, I have a love-hate relationship with money, or, it's feast or famine with money, all that. And then that's good to identify. And then I also have them complete a holistic wealth wheel exercise where they look at their starting point with all of the different abundance and wealth that's already in their life. Because, the first thing that we think about is money when we're thinking about wealth and abundance. But really, it's more than that. It's really holistic wealth in all areas of your life. And so the reason why I do those two exercises is because, one, is we need a reality check. And the other is that we also need to look at our results and say, hey, I'm actually not so far down, that I do have a lot of abundance that's already in my life. And so by then applying all the strategies and the tools in the book, you can really expand that and get to the next level, move forward, and all of that. Because I didn't want women to feel like, oh no, I'm not doing anything right, so I better, get this together. And I didn't want them to approach it from that point of view. I really wanted them to approach it from the point of view as it's my time, and I'm going to apply this, and it's going to help me move forward.
Yeah, you're going to go ahead and go for it and move forward, and it just carries such different energy.
Oh, it's completely different energy, and it is because I've tried, Marianne. I've tried it either way, and I'll tell you, the positive one works so much better. And some of my clients have too. And honest to God, they'll tell me, "Oh yeah, I don't like that other one so much," right? Because who wants to start off from a deficit? Even if that's the number, the fact that you've come forward and you've said, I know that I have a greater purpose in life, and I have so much more that I want to make the most out of my life. And you know what? I'm going to work in tandem in figuring out how I can use money as the tool to help me do that.
Mm. What a great place to be. And that's why it makes your book so popular. I know it's been flying off the shelves because it's practices that are different than any other, because there's so many other books out there that talk about manifesting and money, but not in the way that you've written it, especially with women.
Oh, yeah. It is different in that way. And because there's lots of books out there, I should say, about money and manifesting, and there will be many more. What differentiates this book, though, is that this can serve a woman anywhere on her journey, whether she is a CEO, whether she's a business owner, or whether she's a stay-at-home mom. There are stories in the book, and there are details in there that will help anybody who it wants to move forward. And the other thing about it as well is that it's actually, if you think of it, it's actually like a complete course. Mm-hmm. in that it helps women step by step on not just figuring out the whole money piece, but also on how to transform your life for the better, not just financially, but spiritually and emotionally as well. And so there's this, really nice balance, and also coming from the place that understanding that when women are empowered with money, they become difference makers. And that is the huge message of this book. On average, women reinvest 90 cents of every dollar that they earn back to family, back to health, nutrition, and education. And so that is really huge. And so we want women to succeed. We want women to do as well as they can, because when women succeed, we really all do succeed.
Yeah, and everyone's able to move forward.
Yeah, everyone's able to move forward. And I tell you, Marianne, it gives me, it brings tears to my eyes every time on any level I see women doing well, progressing. I mean, the Olympic things, I love seeing women doing well there. I love seeing women do well on all walks of life. And it actually brings a little tear, because usually, there's always some sort of a struggle that's had to happen inward, right? And and if you look at, the entire world and all of the women, we have so much more work to do to help the sisterhood, don't we?
Oh, my goodness. That's why we're having great conversations with fabulous, individuals like yourself today to, it's allowing women to look at not only money, but their relationship with money in a new way, and just what's possible.
Yeah, exactly, what's possible. And really, this is foundational, this book, is because it was interesting, because one time because I work with women from all, just starting out, or they're in a transitioning from their corporate career, or they are, at multiple seven figures. It's so interesting because they're all feeling the same things, but just at a different level.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is a universal aspect of, at first when I was writing the book, people were saying, what, relationship with money? What do you mean relationship with money? And I said, listen, money is, anything that you have a relationship with is something that you think about, you talk about often, it preoccupies your mind, and you end up, having some kind of exchange with it. Do you not have that with money? Oh, yeah. And then you start scratching the surface, and you start hearing the stories, and a lot of the stories is either how I took my power back or I lost it.
Yeah, it's either way. Well, and it's great to share those stories because people can relate. As they're hearing it, they're going, gosh, you know what? That's what I'm going through right now. Or, these are things I need to overcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this book, actually, it's really spurred on a lot of women money circles in terms of having a sacred space for women to really talk about this in such a way that it's out in the open, not from a place of any shame or any fear or any doubt. Rather, it's coming from a place of this is now bubbled up to the surface, and I can now address it so that I can be free of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, when I figured out all these steps that are in here, I started to sleep pretty well.
I bet. I bet you got really good sleep.
Yeah, it was really good sleep because, it's just that kind of a feeling of of just taking in the world in a different way. And I just, I want to be able to share and to let women know that, my goodness, there's so much abundance waiting for you because abundance is your natural state, and it always has been. And what happens is life gets in the way. We end up believing other things that we may have thought was right for us, but it isn't. And, everybody's on a journey. And wherever this book is finding women, that's because it's time for that brilliant woman to really come into her own.
And be able to move past any fears or worries or blocks in regards to money. And that kind of leads me to my next question, because you talk about, and we've kind of been touching on it a little bit, but you talk about core manifestation process. So what is that, and how can we start using that in our lives?
Okay. Well, that is, one of the things that I wanted to put in this book is that core manifesting process, because I've used it quite successfully in my life. Mm-hmm. Not only that, though, I wanted to include that because then people will be able to tap into what other successful masters of wealth and success know, because this is available to all of us. So we are manifestors. We're actually manifest something all the time, whether it's good or not so good. That is just the nature of manifesting, because I'm sure people have heard of the law of attraction, like attracts like, and so forth. Well, so the manifesting process is really a 4-step process that I call it a system that I ended up learning from many, many masters, and I put them together to make sense of it for my life. And so it's really simple. So step number 1 is get clear and ask the universe for what you want. Half of the battle is that people aren't clear and they don't really know what they want, so it gets like a wishy-washy result. So get clear and ask the universe for what you want. Number 2, visualize what you want, but visualize it in a way that you're receiving it. So you're feeling that moment. You're in the moment. And I will tell you, Marianne, when I was writing this book, I was already feeling the holding the book as a finished product. And I didn't even know who the publisher was going to be at the time.
That's
no clue.
fabulous. You'd love that.
Oh, yeah. It's just it happened so quickly afterwards. It's almost so then you visualize it. Then you release the outcome. and you practice active faith that is whatever for your highest good is going to come to pass. And this is where we get very, we want to control the outcome. Everybody wants to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're constantly either thinking about it, I hope it really comes true. What if it doesn't come true? Like all this rumination, it ruins the energy. So,
and people do that so often, where they'll manifest it and let it go, and then they drag it back, and kind feed it with more manifestation.
So here you are. So you've just visualized, because you've asked the universe what you wanted, you've visualized, and then every time after you visualize, you release it. You just release and you say, may this or something even better now come into manifestation for the highest good of all.
Ooh, I love that.
Oh, that's from Mark Allen. I love him. President of the World Library. Okay. So he's one of a great teacher as well. And so you take that and then you let that go into the universe, and you go about your day practicing active faith in that whatever is for my highest good is going to come to pass. And most of the time, I've found that when whatever we picture in our head is actually quite limited, in that the universe has something even better, something even bigger than we would have thought, right? So stop trying to control what's going to happen, right? This isn't.
Oh, yeah.
So then, after you do that, you have to practice the active faith aspect by taking aligned actions. So you're going to, once you start doing this, people are going to come to you, resources, and situations will start to present themselves to you. And in that, do you like this one? Is this what you were talking about? It's almost like the universe is offering up options, right? And so and some people aren't attuned to that. You just have to be really attuned to it. Anytime I was manifesting, with writing this book and so forth, possibilities started coming up to me. All of a sudden I'll be reading a book and I'll read about something else. Oh, I was just thinking about that, right? Because you're doing this attraction. And so the operative word there, though, is taking action. We, as all manifestors, have to take action because we live in a universe that is physical. Everything has to, you can co-create with the universe, definitely, but the universe needs you to do your part on this physical plane to take action. And so you can't sit there and go, oh, my God, I have done the best visualization. I asked, and then, your phone rings and you're invited to some event where it's for, it's going to move you further in your career or your business, and you say, oh, no, thanks, not knowing that could have led to something else, right? So, you do have to practice discernment. Of course you do. At the same time, a lot of people think, I only want it to come in this form, so I don't want to consider anything else. And that happens a lot too. That's that too, Mary. I was like, oops.
They're waiting for what they consider perfect, and they're missing all the opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have some clients that, I can't do that yet because this hasn't happened, or I can't do this yet. Oh my God, I had one client, brilliant woman. She didn't want to give a speech at this particular place because she wasn't ready for it. But it was so funny because I was like having a laugh with her because I said the universe is trying to really tell you something, because every couple of months that same organization kept asking her. So it was and she was doing the core manifesting process and all of that, and then she actually went and did this amazing keynote speech there, and that keynote speech was heard by so many other people who then invited her to the platforms that she wanted to be at.
Oh.
So the universe is very, very wise. Yeah. And so that's the core manifesting process. Number one is get clear and ask for what you want. 2, visualize receiving it. 3, release the outcome. And number 4 is take aligned actions.
There you go. Oh, I love
and
that.
You can try it right away, Marianne. Go for it.
Well, I think it's such great information, and it's lined up so perfectly because one step just takes you right to the next step.
Yeah, and it's actually really logical, right? But when you're in the middle of it, you're like, no. But imagine the universe says yes to everything, because the universe just reads energy. It goes with reading energy, and so imagine the energy that people create when they say, "Oh, but it's not. I really want this, but it's not happening," right? Because look at the sentence: "I want this," so the universe says yes, but it's not happening. The universe says yes. So you have this push-pull energy. So that's why nothing happens.
You can just almost feel the energy, screeching and going in reverse. When that happens.
Like if we looked at all the energetic waves, right? It's just like, it's really bright. It's happening, shining, ding, 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 and then seconds later, oh, but I can't. But it's going to be too hard. And then the universe says, yes, it will be too hard, And so what if you just said it's going to be so exciting and you left it there? Let the universe come back and show you what it's coming back with. And then, you're going to take intentional actions and say you're going to have that yes energy. And you're going to say, okay, we're going to go for that next thing. We're going to go for that next thing. Because it really is a journey of faith, to get to the next, to where you want to be.
Yeah, and then the next one and the next one. It's a continuous journey that you take, where you get to have fun and decide, okay, gosh, this is working out so great. I can't wait to manifest the next thing.
Oh, yeah. And after using this for, over 20 years, 25 years, I've really now felt like this can be out in the world to really serve women. And, a lot of men find value in reading this too. And
I don't doubt that, for sure.
So I think that it can really just serve so many people. And, just to get out of our own way, really.
Yeah, to be able to move forward. Well, and I'm so glad that you wrote this, because there's so many women, as we talked in the beginning of the show, there's so many women that are struggling and just going, gosh, how am I going to make it? How am I going to get beyond all this,
Yeah. And I'm, really, and I say this with all sincerity, read the book, turn inward, look within, identify what the root cause of what's holding you back, apply what's in the book, and then really actively work on overcoming any of the blocks. And, you're going to see and you're going to feel results that, you wouldn't have known otherwise.
And I've got all these questions. Of course, we're not going to touch them all. We're not even going to get close, because that's okay, because people, of course, want to go pick up their own copy of Money, Manifestations, and Miracles. But the last question I do have here for us is, overall, what do you hope that the readers take away from your book?
Overall, I want readers to know that women have a unique relationship with money that is strongly connected to love, generosity, and paying it forward. This is a unique feminine connection to money. And when women are empowered with money, they become difference makers. And I said earlier that, this speech by Oprah at the Golden Globe Awards, where she said, a new day is on the horizon for women and girls. I absolutely agree, and I hope that this book empowers women to claim their wealth, get on with being a difference maker, and a force for good in the world.
Oh, isn't that the truth? My goodness.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes,
well, and so, Meriflor, where can people connect with you and learn more about not just the book, but the work that you're doing that surrounds the book?
Yes, they can go to my website at meriflor.co. So it's Meriflor, meriflor.co. And they'll find ways to get the book. They'll find more information about me and my work, and really on helping women to claim their wealth and rise as a force for good in the world.
Well, congratulations on your book being released. I mean, I think it's such a profound book and highly suggest everyone pick up their own copy. And, Meriflor, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for all that you're doing, Marianne, to make this a much better world for all of us and for everybody to be more consciously aware of how to be so much, to live our best selves and our best lives.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I love what I do, and obviously we both do, and we need more people who are inspired by the work that they do. So, thank you for taking the time to share your wisdom and insights with us here today.
Thank you.
Well, we're at the end of our time today. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne. And remember, make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Moments with Marianne airs every Thursday, Friday, and Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.